Hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Scorpio in May 2020. What's going on, Scorpio? How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, friends. How are you? How's springtime treating you? Are you back out in the world? Are you back to your normal life schedule, or are you still kind of under quarantine? Where I am in the world, the restrictions are being lifted slowly but surely. I know a lot of people are anxious to get back out there, but I gotta tell you, friends, I don't think it's such a good idea to rush it. So if you are able to still practice social distancing and making sure that you and yours are safely protected, wear your masks, don't go up and like start licking doorknobs and all this crap, you know what I mean? And not that I've seen people do that, but I'm being facetious with that extreme picture. But wherever you are, please stay safe, please stay healthy, stay sane if that also is an issue, because I know after, what is this, like 8-9 weeks that many of us have been in the house for on a consistent basis. I can understand how a lot of people are being challenged emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, all the ways, okay? So I totally have all the sympathy and empathy for everybody, not just Scorpios, who are going through a hard time right now. If you are. If you're not, perfect. That's great. Anyway, let's get into it. Scorpio, I have shuffled off camera. That's your main spread there. I will shuffle on camera now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all of your cards are out and lying face up on the table, that's when the reading begins. Timestamp is in the description if you want to jump ahead. Also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me. If you have a question before you place an order, just go ahead and email me and I'll answer you as soon as I can. Also in the description box, you can see that there's a link to my Instagram. You'll see that name appear here again. It is EmpathicFire Tarot. If you want to drop me a follow, that would be cool. If you don't, that's also cool, baby. No pressure. No pressure. However, if you do want to follow me on Instagram, I do oracle pulls over there. I might eventually start doing some pick-a-cards over there just to see how I feel about it and all that good stuff. So I'm still learning the ropes. I'm not a young thing anymore, so I'm like, what is all this? So I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do over there versus what I do here on YouTube to kind of make the best of both platforms, okay? So if you want to follow me on that journey, you know what to do. Follow me, okay? All right, let's do it. Scorpio, let's get your outcome, okay? Let me see Scorpio's outcome for May 2020. I want to see Scorpio's outcome for May 2020. Please show me. Of course it fell to the floor. And did it fall? Oh, I can actually grab that, but I'm going to have to move this. So 1 second. Beep-a-dee boop 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 boop. Oh, and then I got to use my foot to get it right there. I did it. Here it goes. Yeah. It's a tight setup around here, friends. I got to be honest. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Let me slide this back to where it was. Okay. There we go. So yeah, bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Let's flip what came face down for you, Scorpio. Oh gosh. What's up with everybody having so many major arcanas? I feel like you're the 8th sign in the zodiac, right? And so for my monthlies, I go in order. So you're the 8th sign I'm doing. And I feel like only 1 or 2... Oh, Jesus. Only 1 or 2 have not had so many major arcanas. This is very interesting, but it kind of makes sense to me. But we'll see what actually is going on for you specifically. So let's get into it. Please show me where Scorpio is in May 2020. Please show me Scorpio in May 2020. Please show me. That's not clear. One more time. Which one? For Scorpio in May 2020. Please show me. Okay, we got there. However, I gotta tell you, it was in 2 positions. But we're gonna start here first. It started to be clearer towards the end of that little mini meditation. So this is where we're gonna start. Scorpio, coming into May, you come in with, pardon me, the energy of the Six of Coins, or the card that is the Six of Coins. My hand is itching here suddenly. Very strongly. Okay. Anyway, Six of Coins. So, what's going on? Now, this is not usually the card of counting your coins, counting your money, counting your pennies, but this looks like that kind of a situation. This is the English Magic Tarot deck. And so I think it depicts the time when taxes were collected, like literally door by door. Like, you know, it is I, the royal tax collector, and I've come to collect your taxes on behalf of Lord blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So maybe some of you are, well, many of us are having issues with taxes and money and what's coming in, what's going out, and it's a whole fucking headache, right? So you could literally be worried about paying bills. You could be very, because with Six of Coins, it's about reciprocity and things being equal, things being properly divided. So some of you might be making judgments calls on what to pay for and what to kind of skip over or ask for forbearance on. If you've got credit cards and they're like, you're calling up Visa like, listen, Visa, I love you, but I kind of have to keep my lights on. I kind of have to pay my mortgage. And so you kind of have to cut me a break. And Visa might be like, well, dear Lord Visa wants his money as soon as possible. You know, so if it's not literal cash, which I think it still would be very, very much on many of your minds, not just Scorpios, everybody, I am sensing this begrudging. Like, look at these two guys. Like, the one guy, he's holding, what does he got? What the hell is that? Where's his hand? Oh, he's holding the money bag, and that's the guy's shoulder. Anyway, so I get the sense that the guy in the brown top and the red top have to pay the guy in the green top. Again, like a tax collector. And as you can see, Mr. Brown Top, Mr. Brown Jacket over there is like, I don't have it, or I don't want to pay this, or, you know, oh God, I don't want to make anything political, but it's just like, it's high time that we stop getting all too. You know, it's like this person is like, I don't want to get involved in this, you know, paying of taxes nonsense. You know, I'm already poor. Why are you trying to take my last dollar? So there's this sense from that one person, and a little bit from the person in the red jacket too, of despite my responsibilities, I don't want to pay towards them, or I don't want to yes, that's the point. I don't want to give in this situation because it's not fair to me anyway. There it is. That's what we're talking about. Thank you. Because I was like, this is beyond this little allegory of a tax-paying situation. Somebody, you, well, it doesn't have to be you. But I will address it as you, Scorpio. But it is still a general, so it can be the other way. I get the sense that your energy, Scorpio, is like, this is bullshit. I don't want to give to this because it's not fair to me anyway. So some of you are overgiving in a situation, or you have been for a long time. This is coins, slowest element in the tarot deck. So if this is years of your life or years of your money that you've been putting in towards something, putting your energy, your effort, your support. What else do we value? What did I say? Money, time, resources. Okay. Your own personal resources. You know, you might have been letting, you know, a friend of yours stay and sleep on your couch, and they've been there for like 2 years, and you're kind of like, listen, Randy, you got to get a job, baby. and maybe Randy is like, I mean, especially now, like what, I mean, there are some jobs going, but Randy might, you know, be like, well, I'm looking for something really good. And you're kind of like, but Randy, baby, these bills ain't gonna pay themselves, honey. You must get a job. I need you to get a job. So basically, Scorpio, you are giving to a situation, and you're giving to people. You're giving, and you're not getting much back. Because that is definitely a traditional understanding of the Six of Coins. It's about reciprocity. It's about what is fair and what is equal and what is properly divided amongst however many people involved. If it's between 2 people, cool, even 50-50, okay? If it's 3 people, 33, 33, 33. If it's 16 people, I'm not good at math, but you might know what that equals. 100% divided by 16, I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's less than 10% each. I know that. Ha 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 ha. But I'm not good at math. So anyway, so you're upset, and if it's not you, it's somebody else. You know, if you know you're making out like a bandit in the situation, Scorpio, and that's the thing. The person who's doing the collecting, Mr. Green Top here, Mr. Green Jacket, okay, if you work on the behalf of, or you're the person, quote unquote, with power or with the upper hand, let's say, with the upper hand, you probably already know that you're taking advantage in the situation. Most likely the person who's taking advantage isn't watching a tarot video. I have to tell you that, you know. I mean, I think it anyway, so the person who's taking advantage by staying on your couch for 2 years, not really pulling their weight around the house, the village tax collector or the big boss who you work for who doesn't, you know, I mean, and I don't mean to make light of this, but this is like a real thing that people, I just saw an Amazon exec quit over this. And listen, big shade to Jeff Bezos. I'm saying something quite personal. Big shade to him, like screw that guy. But Amazon as a company, as for what they provide, it's really hard to find alternatives that are, you know, good for your pocketbook. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm gonna pull back because that's not really what this is about. But as an example, a lot of people have been protesting who work for this huge corporation. And they have to do their job, but they're like, listen, we're not safe. And Amazon employees have been complaining about many things before this pandemic. So in the middle of a pandemic, if you're expecting your employees to show up, whether they work for Amazon or some other big corporation, whether they work at for the post office, whether they work in a restaurant, or not a restaurant, but a hospital, because most restaurants are shut down, but like fast food is open, right? Anyway. It's like this. You know your employees need this, but you're not cutting them any breaks, right? So whoever's taking advantage doesn't have to. They could really do something to help the situation. So to bring it back to something possibly a little bit more relatable, good old Randy sleeping on the couch. Okay, fine. You're not going to pay bills or you're not able to contribute to the monetary issues of the house. Guess what? Maybe you could clean up around here. And you're just like looking around where he sleeps or where she sleeps. It doesn't, you know, no gender on whoever's crashing in your house. If they're not pulling their weight, cleaning up after themselves, offering to take to do something for you, offering to, you know, do a patch job on the roof or something like that, like do something to pull your weight. If you can't literally give me what I ask for, money towards the bills, then you should, you know, this is just how I was raised, and I think it's just common sense, and I think it's just, you know, common courtesy as a decent person. If I can't pay you with cash, let me do these favors for you around the house. Let me do something in exchange for this. Within limits, okay? Within limits, okay? Now, so that, again, that applies for people who are out there working. You know, a lot of people who are in these public positions, these service jobs, many are going back to work. They don't have protection. They don't have plexiglass anywhere. They don't have any PPE. They're not being told or given guarantees that they would be able to take medical leave or paid time off in case they do get sick. It's like, kind of, if you get sick, we're going to replace you anyway, so come to work at your own risk, or, you know what I mean? And then, like, another thing I saw on the news, and this will be the last thing before I move on. Like, before there were all these issues with meat packing plants here in the States, back in April and March, in the middle of a pandemic, they were offering bonuses to employees who worked every day that month. Knowing full well you got people in there without PPE, no types of, you know, 6 feet apart way of not being crunched together like a bunch of sardines, and you're going to offer a bonus where potentially people could get sick. By the way, thousands of people got sick. I don't want to laugh, but it's like, literally, look at these guys. The two guys are like, I don't want to do this. And Green Jacket's like, but I'm taking your money anyway. So, wherever you are in that story, Scorpio, you know better than I do. You are being taken advantage of, or you're taking advantage of the situation, or someone specifically, okay? So what else happens? Well, a lot of shit. A lot. Oh, that's nice. I see that. That's a path. That's a connector. Got it. Cool. Okay, so what happens? Well, I feel it's for everybody involved, but it's going to be different for everybody involved, right? There's a ton of change happening. There's a ton of movement going on. Might be slow, might be under the surface, but it's happening. It's happening. And considering the path I think we're going to go, or just, yeah, it's Scorpio, this is like a huge divinely guided portion of your life or situation or phase of your life or whatever. But what's going to happen for now, or what has been happening recently, is not a lot of nothing. Or excuse me, is a lot of nothing, but it looks like nothing, but actually a lot is happening. Thank you. It looks like nothing, but a lot is happening. Hangman. Secondary major arcana for Pisces. You could be dealing with a Pisces, but you don't have to be. So, this is about being in a suspended state, and reflecting upon your life, and reflecting upon your situations, reflecting upon your own personal beliefs, your own personal psychology and philosophies, and all this good stuff, right? It can be an action taken to avoid something, okay? Because the hangman can, claim to be, oh, I'm so busy, and oh my God, I'm just so, I can't, I don't have the time. Like, this could be excuse work if I'm honest, but the traditional understanding of this card is that you are taking time out and you are putting yourself in a reflective or meditative state, or you've been put in it, because it is a major arcana, so it kind of carries that weight of a universal or cosmic oversight, okay? And the purpose is to grow. The purpose is to consider things in a different way and gain new perspective, gain new knowledge, and once you seeing the world through new eyes, basically. If you look at this guy, he's hung upside down by his ankle, right? If any of us were suddenly strapped and held up by our ankle, we would definitely be seeing the world with new eyes, so to speak. Your whole perspective would change, right? Everything that was up is now down. Everything that is down is now up. And, when we're kids, we used to do this, and I would challenge any adult who's like, what does that even mean? Go dangle yourself off the edge of the bed or the edge of the couch and just look at the world upside down for like 5 minutes. Your living room, your bedroom, if you're clever, maybe you could dangle yourself off of a counter in your kitchen. I think that's probably dangerous, but don't do that. Anyway, and just like how quickly it's so weird to do that. I don't do this, but just to show an example, I'm 6'1". I have little kitties, I have cats, right? Sometimes I lay on the ground and like, it's crazy. You lay on the ground after standing up over 6 feet in a house or any place for a long period of time. You go down to the ground, you're like, what, less than a foot off of the ground? It's a different perspective. Everything seems so large down there. When I'm, as tall as I am, I'm like, everything is so small. So that's what I mean, is like, there's an opportunity or a situation or just a state of mind or a state of being that you or someone else could put themselves in or have been put in, where this new perspective is growing, is developing over time. Doesn't have to be, okay, by the way, everything is, free will in the end, okay? But I have the sense that whoever's looking for a new way of seeing a situation or finding a solution, they're doing so, but slowly. It's not quick and it's not easy. Let's go ahead and remind ourselves of that. It was easy when you were a kid to go like flying across the room and dangling upside down off of the jungle gym or the monkey bars, right? Like when you're 6 years old, that shit is banging and like, oh my God, this is so much fun. Do it now and you're in your mid 40s. Unless like you're in that CrossFit type of world, the shit's not easy, right? So it's not an easy task to turn yourself upside down, to flip your perspective, to flip your philosophies. And I'm not saying flip as in 180 degrees, go the exact opposite. Just turn or mold into a different way. It's not an easy thing to do, right? It's likely quite uncomfortable because, again, you put an adult, string them up by their ankle from a tree branch. I don't think most people are going to think, this is pleasant. I'm enjoying this experience. Most are going to be like 2 minutes in, oh, I feel uncomfortable. Oh, my lunch is coming back up. There'll be all these like complaints of not feeling well, being disoriented, feeling the circulation cut off at your ankle. There's just not much pleasantry about that experience. So as much as it's beneficial, it fucking sucks to go through it. Yeah? So, good old Randy. Or good old you. If you're the person who's giving the chances and you're opening your house up to someone, or you're providing the resources, you're providing the money, you're dedicating your time, and you might be sitting there thinking, am I a sucker? Am I being like suckered into this? Or why am I so giving? Or how come I'm not, asserting myself? Why am I not standing up for myself in this situation? Why am I not demanding that this guy pay rent towards me? Why am I not demanding that my mother or my father or my brother, sister, whoever does something equally towards me, treats me in a fair, equal way? That's what the desire is when you get to the Six of Coins. You want things to be equal. Why aren't they equal? Reflecting on that, considering that, needing and possibly not happy about gaining a new perspective. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I get it. So this happens over time. This happens over time, friends. And it is, I don't want to say it's a lesson, but it's definitely yeah, this is like the the beltway. This is the road. This is the path. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, Scorpio, and Randy doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want to do. But here's what the universe is saying, essentially. This is the road, this is the path. Fortune card, aka Wheel of Fortune, right above that hangman position. This is secondary major arcana for Sagittarius. You could be dealing with a Sagittarius or not at all. Also associated with fixed signs, so that would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. This is the road, and this is the time, because that's the other aspect of the Wheel of Fortune. It talks about timing a lot. It is a card about expansion and growth, which is kind of what I was just telling you about the hangman, expansion and growth. Getting into a position where you feel pressurized, or you feel frustrated, or you feel let down, or you feel, like I said, suckered, taken advantage of, whatever it is, any or all of the above, or none of the above, whatever you feel. And from that experience, you will grow, or something comes out of it that enhances your life. Now, you might not be able to recognize it now or appreciate it now. Totally cool. That makes sense. But the other side of this is like where I said this is the path, and I think I used the word beltway, which is interesting because I've never thought of that word related to this card. But beltway is in like a pathway, as in like I said, the road and the path that you travel. And what's around her is mimicking the tarot deck, right? Because she's a fortune teller. Hello. and she's likely employing cartomancy, right? So the path, the journey in tarot in general doesn't tell a pretty tale if you study it, right? Especially if you just study the major arcana. The minors, they tell a story too, but it's like, I think it's more of a winding road. The pathway of the major arcana is more of a circle, or a beltway, or a loop, like you see there, right? And it's not easy. There are great times and there are shitty times. There are wonderful experiences and wonderful archetypes and lessons that you learn and experiences that you have, and some of them are just absolutely trash. Absolutely not the thing you want to do. And we've already talked about one extensively. That shit is good for you, the hangman, but is it fun? No. So, that experience is the path, is the beltway, is the journey, is part of the journey to growth and expansion. Now, are you seeing it that way in the moment? As bills come due and Randy's just sitting there eating a bunch of cheese curls, getting crumbs all on the floor, not vacuuming up after himself, not cleaning up the dishes, not bathing himself, whatever. And it's just like you're looking at, I get the sense that someone is looking at somebody and being absolutely disgusted with them. Not because of hygiene, but that could be a factor, but literally disgusted that this person expects you or is taking advantage in the situation, taking advantage or taking your kindness and taking your support of them and like running around or just like it's like a leeching kind of thing. Not all of you, some of you, okay? And it doesn't have to be someone crashing on your couch. This could be someone who lives on their own, but they always call you up. Hey, Scorpio, you got $50 for me? Hey, Scorpio, do you think I could borrow your car? Hey, Scorpio, I missed my daughter's birthday. Do you think that you could let me, do you think you could spot me money so I could buy a birthday present for my own kid? Like, what? And that's complicated if that's a friend of yours. That's complicated if that's a relative of yours. It's complicated in so many ways, okay? But I get this sense of being disgusted with someone constantly having their hand out, looking for you to help them, looking for you to give to them. And you do it. Most of you do it. And don't tell me you don't, because I know many Scorpios, okay? I was raised by one. Oh, God. I used to work with a couple. I know you guys. You give. You don't like it. Or not that you don't like it. You might bitch when you do it. You might, you'll do it, but then you're like criticizing yourself. You criticize the person you're giving to. And there's like this, but it's because it's from this loving place that it happens. Okay. So I get it. I absolutely get it. Okay. So this fortune card to me is saying your path to learning more about yourself, because that's the other thing about this card, again, associated with Sagittarius, which again is associated with the planet Jupiter. Higher learning, bigger, broader philosophies about life, about existence, about what it means to be a conscious living thing in the universe, right? Big picture stuff, the big rhymes and reasons. Scorpio is painted to be this type of standoffish, cold heart, not cold hearted, I shouldn't say that, but enigmatic, dark, spooky or some type of off-putting energy. However, for those who are in the know, when you're in the good graces of a Scorpio, you're actually taken pretty good care of. And people can take advantage of that. I've seen it in my own life. Again, I was raised by a Scorpio, and that person got taken advantage of sometimes. And would constantly give back to the same people that were being criticized or that were the thorn in the side. I can't have anything because of you. Flash forward 2 weeks, here's my dear old Scorpio doing it again. But you just said that person was like preventing you from having what you really wanted. And then you go and you give to them again. That's what this is. Okay? So that's a cycle. It's a loop. Okay? Cycle, loop. And if you are familiar with the traditional artwork of this, it's like the wheel. Wheel turns. The topmost point of the wheel will eventually become the bottom point, and then it'll eventually turn again and come back up to the top. It's a cycle. It repeats itself. So you've been down this road before, either with the same specific person, or just this is a pattern in your life, Scorpio. It's just a pattern in your life. Now, I already told you what is available to change your perspective. Doesn't have to be a 180. Doesn't have to be, even a 90-degree turn. It could be a 5-degree turn or a 5-degree difference from where you're standing right now. Shift your focus or shift your eye line or shift the way you perceive things to whatever extent you choose to. But I feel there is some reluctance to do that. However, universe, God, cosmic order, Buddha, Jesus, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, the Jedi, the Force, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, is going to make this happen. If it's not now, it'll be happening in the future. And you could be 98 years old. And however long it takes you to be 98 years old. And it could be the day before you pass away that you would have this revelation. That still counts. I would hope it would be before then, because I get the sense that this is very unfair. I get the sense that there is just this repeated cycle or this repeated element in a certain relationship where you are giving too much, doing too much, and nobody pays you back. Nobody treats you in fairness, in kindness, the way that you treat them. So if that's just one person, if that's 15 people, when are you going to get tired and fed up with that shit? I'm not saying that you have to, but I'm saying this is what it feels like. This for some of you, there's a big chance right now. It coincides with this big timeout that Mother Nature put us on. It's like, hey guys, why don't you all go sit in the house for 2 fucking months and think about yourselves, think about your lives. And that's what we did. And then now that we're about to reemerge, a lot of this, what are you going to do now, energy is in the collective. What are we going to do now going forward? This is an opportunity, a chance. A chance is what the wheel always represents. A possibility to change your fortune, to change your status, to change the way things happen in your life. You don't have to do anything. But the universe is setting it up so that you can. If you don't do it now, will this opportunity or something similar come along again? Sure, because what is it? It's a loop. Life is nothing but a loop. It's nothing but a cycle, right? It'll happen again in the future, but will you be ready then? And that's the thing about a Scorpio. That's the thing about a fixed sign. If you don't want that change right now, you'll pass it up. So, here you go, friend. This is you. Death card. This is the chance. Or not this is the chance. Here's the big to do. What the hell was that? Here's the metamorphosis. The change, the transformation, the actual act of doing things differently. Death. Endings and beginnings. Death. Change, transformation, metamorphosis. Putting down what was and picking up what will be. Yeah? You don't have to do it. Because some of you are like hearing this and part of you is like, yeah, I should. I will. But then another part of you is like, but I don't want to. Or it's not the way I want it to be right now. Or I'm not ready for it. Then you're going to miss it. Just got to let you know. Then you're going to miss it. Okay? But it's an inevitability regardless. Because like I was trying to say to you, you could be 25 right now watching this. Hello, 25-year-old Scorpio. And I'm not saying this specifically for only 25-year-olds, but I hope you get what I'm saying. This moment could present itself to you when you're 25, when you're 32, when you're 46, when you're 58, when you're 61, when you're 70, and you could go all the way up until you're 98 years old. And that is the last time this opportunity will be there. But you're 98 years old. You have wasted 70 years of not changing, of not transforming, of not embracing this opportunity to be done with something or to be done with a certain pattern in your life. And you extended that for 70 years. Did you waste your time? Maybe not. But I feel this, I want things to be equal. I want to be treated fairly. If you want that, you have to do something to change it. You can't sit there and look at Randy and tell him the same thing 50 million times and expect him to finally get it. Why does he have to be the impetus, or why is it all okay, please, I'm not blaming you, but think about it. Randy, I need you to pay rent. I need you to pay money towards these bills. Friend, family, lover, whoever it is. I need you to pay and share some equitable responsibilities around here. I can't be the only one putting money into this household. I can't be the only one who provides the food, the shelter, the electric, the water. Help me. Help me. And Randy still sits there 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. However long it's been or however long it will be. And you've asked him, you've yelled, you've pled, you've cried, you've written letters, you've done all the things. And maybe for a while, Randy, and please don't think this is gendered. It could be a woman. Randy is a gender neutral name anyway. So Randy, the person, male or female, okay, has not done enough to show that the equality is present in the relationship as of this moment, as of this reading. That's why all of this is here. That's why this opportunity to dead that shit is here. Now, again, good old loyal Scorpio is like, but that's my brother. But that's my best girlfriend. But I care about them. That's my son, my daughter. Cool. I understand that. But what is the trade-off? You will continue to be treated unfairly. Maybe not consistently. Maybe Randy has a couple of years in there where they stay employed. They hold down a job. But the moment things falter for them, they come and they suckle off of you. God dang it. You have such a clear message. It's so interesting. So, you don't have to do anything you don't want to, Scorpio. I know a lot, I can feel it. A lot of you are in this, I don't know. And that's why this is uncomfortable. Because you're being challenged to change how you view the situation. You're being challenged to change how you show up. And again, it doesn't have to be a 180. It doesn't have to be, Randy, get out of my house, throw your stuff out on the lawn, and lock the door behind and change the lock so he can't get back. It doesn't have to be that drastic. There are ways in which you can mitigate this situation. But if it's the same stuff as normal, you rant, you rave, they get a job for 2 months, they quit the job after 2 months, and they come crash at your house again. You've been down that road before. They did that shit in 2015, 2014, 2012, right? It's both you and this person, or both you and how others treat you. It's a cycle. I told you, it's not just you. It's a cycle. It's a pattern in your life where you do this with many, if not one particular person, okay? I'm going to have a drink of water. Hold on, please. So, it's a choice. As much as I'm saying it's an inevitability, in that eventually it's going to happen in some form or fashion. Wow, I rolled my sleeves up. I must be hot. It's also a choice. You can do it now, or you could put it off and let the cycle go again. And that's the other thing. Wheel of Fortune. Like I told you, it starts in the top position and it rolls around to the bottom before it comes back to the top. If your particular scorpionic opportunity exists at the top, and it's in this nowish period of Mayish, June-ish, let's say spring 2020, or even the entire year of 2020. Who knows how long your window will be there? Who knows how long that window is going to stay open? But eventually, that window will close, and the opportunity will move around the wheel. And who knows when it'll come back around again? Does that make sense? It could be 2 months later. It could be 2 years later. It could be 2 decades later. Who knows? So I don't say that to stir it up in you and think, like, to make you like panic and say, well, I got to do it now. No. Just consider, just consider, aka just reflect, possibly go back in your memory bank, Scorpio. When's the last time a certain inkling to get things on a different footing in this particular situation or related to this particular cycle or pattern of yours has come around before? When was the last time? It's not a challenge. It's like, I literally want you to think about it. It's because I don't know the answer. Some of you it was like 5 days ago. Some of you it was like 15 years ago. But that's what I mean. How often are you in this state of mind or have been put in a situation where you feel something's got to give here, something's got to change here, something's got to break my way? That's that inkling. That's your spirit. That's your intuition telling you, shit ain't working, bubby. Shit ain't working the way you want it to. That's that motivation. That's that spiritual motivation. When's the last time that happened? How often does it happen? If it happens very frequently, that means your window is here. Right? If you're thinking that every day, every other day, like I said, some of you are looking at someone with disgust. You come down into your living room, it looks a mess, and Randy is sleeping on your couch again for the 58th day in a row, and you're like, God. And you have to temper yourself, right? The time is now. Okay? What else happens? Star card. Major arcana for Aquarius. Some of you could be dealing with an Aquarius, but you don't have to be. So here is kind of this... Oh, that makes sense. Yes. Okay. So I don't know. I think this is supposed to artistically mimic Sir Isaac Newton, right? And what was he? An inventor. A very inventive mind. He broke ground on so much that our modern society and modern technologies are all based off of. Like what was it? He's like gravity, right? He's the guy who discovered gravity, right? Look at me. English major, trying my best. So I think, so here's this brilliant mind. Again, I think that's what this is mimicking, Sir Isaac Newton, or at least that's how I'm interpreting it right now. A brilliant mind comes up with this theory of gravity, and he does all the experiments, and he proves his theory and all this kind of stuff, right? That's done in the face of adversity. Not just him, but so many other people, and so many, oh my God, I dropped it. So many people now also go through that. Your idea is crazy. Come on, man, I need you. There we are. Your idea is crazy. That's not going to work. Why would you suggest such a thing? Why would you do such a thing? Oh, nobody's ever done it like that before. Oh, no, what are you doing? You know, people will call you crazy. Or people probably called him or other inventors or other brilliant minds, engineers and mathematicians and all that shit crazy at some point in their careers, at some point in their lives. Yeah? So you might be thinking, oh, see, I'm telling you. Some of you have a very connected relationship to one person who, if you started to suggest or started to propose, I want to do things differently in my relationship with this person, others around you would be like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? Like, why would you do that? Like, or they would look at you like you were being a total monster, right? That's your son, Scorpio, Randy, the unemployed person sleeping on your couch. That's your son. And you're like, yeah, and I'm like retired and I want to enjoy my retirement by myself. And I know to some of you, you're like, oh, that sounds so cold-hearted, Jay. If your child is 40 years old or 50 years old and they're sleeping on your couch and yeah, that's fine. But like all the time, or just you're always, again, you're just expected. Someone is expecting you to always give to the situation. What kind of bullshit is that? I believe in giving to people. Trust me, I give a lot to people. Trust me. Myself personally, I give. But you know what else? I also draw fucking lines. Oh, I'm not going to give past this point. And I let it be known when it needs to be known. Some of you have never drawn that line in your life. I get like your man Newton here and start drawing some lines. Start, drawing up some schematics. Start putting shit down on paper. By this date, Randy, by this date, have a job. By this date, Randy, do this. And that's what I told you. I told you, but I possibly didn't get the idea out. Remember I told you that some of you have been like, hey, Randy, could you do this, right? And you expect Randy to change. You expect him to kind of put forth new behaviors, put forth new efforts, right? If your effort this entire time, Scorpio, has been to give to Randy, why don't you change your behavior and restrict or restrain, or at least half what you give him? Half what you give him. Or in some ways alter what is offered to this person or to the situation. Yeah? Another thing, I hated this. And I still hate it because I see it all the time where I work. I just think it's ridiculous. But some people like this, and I guess it's not for me to understand. But where I work, there's a lot of celebrations that go on in the building when we're there. And often I see the same women volunteer to plan all the parties, to order the cakes, to get everything organized, to put up the decorations, to blow up the balloons, to string the streamers and all this shit. And I'm like, when's a man gonna do that? How come none of the male managers do that? How come none of the male employees do that? How come it's always this one person or this small gaggle of ladies that do it? Don't want to make it about gender, but you see what I mean? It's like it's the expectation that women do that and men don't do that. That's stupid. You want to eat cake, Steve? Go buy the damn cake. So, the other part of why this is significant, the star card is significant, is that Aquarian and Uranus energy that is associated with this card. Again, this is a major arcana for Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. What do we know about Aquarius and Uranus? Revolutionary. Revolutionary actions, revolutionary ideas, revolutionary... acts, behaviors, doing things that are unexpected, unprecedented. Yeah? off the beaten path, exploratory. Now, there's a caution there because Uranus and Aquarius, as energies, not just people, can go too far, can be too experimental or too radical. Okay? So like I said, it doesn't have to be a complete 180. You never ever buy sheet cake again for the company picnics or the company birthday parties. No. But maybe 3 times out of 10, you don't do it. Maybe, you see what I mean? Maybe you take Randy back into the house. Sure, you can stay here, but only for 2 weeks. What? What do you mean? Yeah, I'm putting a limit on how long you can stay here. Well, last time I was here, I stayed for 8 months. Yeah, exactly, buddy. 2 weeks. And I'm serious. After 2 weeks, we're going to have to talk about what blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? I don't know what you can do in a situation like that. I'm not here to give that type of advice truly, but certain things have to be altered in order for you to break this pattern and for other people to know, hey, I'm Scorpio and I'm breaking some patterns here. Now, whether they choose to be supportive of that, most likely they won't be, especially if they're the person who's taking advantage. But that's what it is. You don't have to do anything, but I know you want to. 6 of Wands. You want to. And that's the thing about a Scorpio, good old Scorpio, with your water sign energy tendencies. You want to, but is it practical? Is it feasible? Can you put legs up under it and make it work? Like I told you, I've known many Scorpios in my life, and I've known some who do make these radical changes, but it comes after they have suffered for a long time. So I get it. I just would hate to see you waste 70, 40, 20, even another year or 2 of your lives doing things and being in situations where you're not treated fairly or you're not getting the reciprocity that you need. That's your fellow fixed sign Leo talking. Okay? Me and Aquarius, proactive. Okay? Leo and Aquarius were like, and I say this because they're opposites, right? So your opposite sign is very similar to you, but they do things differently. So if a Leo is like, all right, let's get this shit done and let's do it and let's make a new presidents around here and let's change this all up. Even though it's fixed sign energy, that fire makes it go. Air sign energy makes it go. Water, earth, because Taurus is your opposite, a little less proactive. Just a little less proactive, if I'm honest. Okay? So, here you are with 6 of Wands. You want a victory. You want to get things moving. You want to be in a different circumstance. You want to see yourself happier or more fulfilled or in control. Some of you, this is about, you're just like, you feel like you're not in control. Yes, what? Some of you feel like you're not even in control of your own life. Hung up. At the mercy of some opportunity or some cosmic karmic thing, so you feel like, oh, I don't have good luck, or luck's never on my side, or oh, the universe is punishing me, or there's no good fortune for me. You feel like you don't have control here, you don't have influence here, and shit just happens to you. Some of you have this feeling that things just happen to you, but it's not so. You can create this. And it's not just Scorpio. Everybody can do this. But this is your reading. You can create this. You choose to change. You choose to transform. You choose to take the opportunity to do things differently. Then you act slightly radically, but more in a revolutionary way of setting down new foundations. And the other aspect of the star card I neglected to mention was it's a healing card. After some very trying experiences and things that are uncomfortable, okay? Experiences where you're not happy, experiences where you may have stepped on some people's toes or upset some people. Maybe you had some self-doubt, and you may have had to walk away from certain things or stop certain things and let certain things just go by the wayside. You begin a healing process, which then could lead to victory. You want this. But will you actually go for it? That is the question. That is the question. And again, just as the general quality, it's not a fact. It's just a generalization. Scorpios are very slow to change, period. Even though your card is about death and transformation and, leaving things behind and becoming, and rebirth is also in there. Eighth house concerns rebirth, right? You go through it. See, that's okay. That makes sense. Thank you. Okay. So one of your archetypes or one of your symbols is the phoenix, right? You're represented by snakes, phoenix. Oh God, I'm gonna forget the other one. Oh, scorpions. Duh. And I think there's one more that you're represented by. Sometimes an eagle, I think. But the phoenix is what I'm really focused on at this moment. The phoenix, that mythical bird, burns to death to a pile of ashes. And from those ashes comes out this new egg that gestates, that incubates, and over time a new phoenix is born from that. That's not an overnight process. And to burn to death, I haven't done it myself, but I assume it's not pleasant. I assume it's very uncomfortable. So your process is your process, your path is your path. You want this thing to happen, and I feel your opportunity, or one of your opportunities, is now. If you don't want it now, the opportunity will go away and will come back at sometime in the future. But let me tell you, you don't like what's going on now. Maybe you should act now. You don't have to. But some of you, you might want to punch that ticket and climb aboard this new pathway, this new train ride of yours, okay? Your outcome, Scorpio. Oh, you're going to have the longest reading for sure, but that's usually typical. The world in reverse. Oy, 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 oy. Secondary major for, I'm going to blank, Capricorn. There it is. Also associated with the fixed signs. So again, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. But in the reverse. So, kind of what I was just saying. The world is about endings, similar to the death card. Fortune isn't necessarily about endings, but it is that cycle thing. Things are completed, things are experienced, and then you move on to the next thing, and it's like this, I forget what you call that. It's like a squiggly line. It's not like actually a circle that closes and ends. It like keeps looping, like a spiral almost, is sort of what the fortune is. But anyway, World card talks about chapter endings, ending of certain phases in your life, and ending those things with purpose and or having learned a lesson, having something that you've gained in the process. As you can see, this is in the reverse. So we are either on a delay or the chapter is closing, but the lesson is not learned. The phase in your life is ending, or the certain relationships in your life are ending, but there isn't actually a change or some type of lesson that is taken on, right? So some of you might, let's just say that. Go ahead and say it. Let's say the Randy in your life, male or female, does not matter, is a partner, a romantic partner. And this person, you could have been on again, off again with them, or you could have been on with them this whole time, but it's deteriorated over time. And let's say that relationship ends. Maybe some of you are thinking that, oh, if I just end the relationship, that's the end of my dealings with Randy. Technically, yes. But what did I tell you? This is more than just the relationship with Randy. This is about your own cycle. This is about your own behavioral pattern, right? So you might go single for a while or jump into a new relationship or do whatever you want to do. You are possibly bound to repeat that lesson because you didn't do or haven't been doing the work of actually transforming, of healing. Well, before that, you haven't done the work to reflect, possibly. You could be doing none of this, or you've missed some parts of it, right? So reflect, grow, or transform and then grow. Depends on your trajectory, right? And then you heal, and then you move on to a new idea, a new perspective, or a new way of performing in a situation, a new way of setting standards for yourself, whatever. This world card is telling me, sure, maybe something has ended, but has the lesson really come on board? Maybe not. Or it's delayed. It's incomplete, right? So I don't know how you could take that, because it sounds fatalistic, it sounds final, but it's not. Remember, I told you it's a loop, it's a beltway, it's a cycle. It's all going to come back again, whether it's with Randy, whether it's with your same family ties, or it's with new people. You may have conquered an aspect or one relationship where you aren't treated fairly. Maybe you finally stood up to your superiors at work, right? But then you go home and you're still not treated well by your family or your friends. Does that make sense? So, you know, it's a big task. It's a big one. It's a big one, Scorpio, but it's just tarot also, okay? So don't take it too seriously, but yeah. Now, the overall energy is the Seven of Cups. Well, if this ain't Scorpio's mind, I don't know what is. First of all, it is one of your cards. 5, 6, 7, if you didn't know, represent the fixed signs in tarot. So this is one of your cards, as you are a fixed sign and you are a water sign, okay? So, Seven of Cups. What to do, what to do, what to do. What to do, what to do. You don't know. And if you do know, you're afraid to pull the trigger, so to speak. You are cautious and uncertain of when and where and what is the right circumstances, or when is the right time, or am I truly doing the right thing? There's second guessing, right? Some of you don't know like the first step to take. Some of you are like on step 4, but you're like, oh man, now I got to go to step 5. Step 5 is where it really gets serious. Some of you have taken the steps and you've done the work. And that's the tricky thing about doing any of this type of, you know, self-development or self-improvement, is like you will do the act, kick Randy out, or start, you know, holding standards high and drawing lines all over the place. These are my boundaries. These are my boundaries. These are my boundaries. And you feel good, but you don't see the result. So some of you have done the work, but you don't see the result. And that could feel like an incompletion to you, okay? Or you haven't exactly learned the lesson, or you haven't been able to appreciate the lesson yet. So you still feel like the Seven of Cups. You still have this feeling of, oh, well, should I have done all of that? Especially if you end up losing contact or losing quality of relationship with people because you start putting up boundaries. And you know what I say about that? If someone can't respect your boundaries, they don't respect you. Period. Period. So Scorpio, I'm going to leave it there. That is your reading. Again, it's the longest one in the bunch so far, so congratulations. If you like what you see here, like button is down below. Leave a comment. If you want to share the video, that would be awesome. If you haven't subscribed, come on in, friends. There's plenty of room for all of yous. I will be back, Scorpio, to do the mid-Mays quite soon. I'm thinking of doing a surprise live. So again, if you're subscribed, you should get notifications of when I go live and when I post or upload videos. So you would be notified of that if I decide to just pop on here out of nowhere. Also, guys, again, if you want a reading with me, a personal, that information is down in the description box, also with the IG link down there as well, okay? Scorpio, it's always a pleasure, my friends. I thank you so much for watching. Take care.